Tonight on West Dakota Fox News at 9, an incredible story of survival after a car goes plunging down a 150-foot cliff into the Pacific. Plus, the brave fight of one local boy with a rare cancer. But first, a late-night drug trafficking raid on a string of popular Bismarck businesses.
This is West Dakota Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
Some breaking news right now. President Donald Trump announcing he's ordered retaliation strikes on the Syrian regime in response to last weekend's chemical weapon attack. This is video of the aftermath of that chemical attack. After ordering the strikes, the president said, quote, "The United States does not control the fate of Syria." Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. Our other top story tonight, the Bismarck Police Department evacuating the district building early this morning, armed with search warrants and suspicion of drug trafficking. The district contains Lucky Ducks, J60, The Vault, Avery's Eatery, and The Pond. Detective Mike Balme with the Bismarck Police Department says they went into the building around 1 o'clock this morning and evacuated all the patrons and held employees. Balme says the warrant was for controlled substances, drug paraphernalia, and drug trafficking. BPD says they couldn't confirm if they found anything because their investigation is active. Police say the search lasted a few hours. We reached out to the owner of the district building and got no response. Time now is 9:01. Let's send it over to Henry for our first check on weather.
Hey, the snow is out of here, but it's still coming down heavily in South Dakota.
Bismarck police are asking for help in finding a missing endangered woman. They say 24-year-old Julie Hoffman has a medical condition and is out of medicine. She's 5'7", 120 pounds, with brown hair and hazel eyes. She was last seen around 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon at the Soup Kitchen on 23rd Street. She was with Nathan Castillo from Eagle Butte, South Dakota. He may be driving an old gray and orange Chevy mobile home. If you have any information, police want to hear from you. Police say another woman is also missing in Bismarck, 21-year-old Camille Lynn Crow. Crow was last seen around 9 this morning at her residence in the 100 block of London Avenue. She also requires daily medicine and does not have it with her. She's described as Native American, 5'2" and 110 pounds. Demolishing the old Burleigh County Jail has been a top priority for the Sheriff's Department, but tearing it down is hitting some roadblocks. They're already 4 months behind schedule, each month presenting new problems.
We've had 2 water lines broken up there. That kind of caused some damage down here in the first floor. About 3 weeks ago, we had one break that actually ended up going into our computer server room.
On Monday, the second water line broke and water fell into the office, damaging a desktop and a wood desk. In education news, Bismarck Public Schools just named Dr. Jim Hostler as their interim superintendent. Dr. Hostler will serve for 1 year, replacing Tamara Uselman. Hostler takes over July 1st. The school board says they're still looking for consultants to help with the hiring process for a future superintendent of the school system. Today also marked the Early Childhood Education Spring Training Conference. One of the topics up for discussion, physical discipline. Hundreds of educators from across the state had an open discussion about how there may be more to the story when a child acts out. According to childsavers.org, 1 in 4 kids has experienced some sort of traumatic incident by the age of 4. Today's keynote speaker urged teachers to ask the question, what happened to you, rather than what's wrong with you.
I think there's more trauma happening than we even realize, and I think that's why trainings like this are so important, so that we are aware of that and can ask those questions and get the help that those kids need.
John Richardson Lau from Child Savers says resilience is the best medicine for helping children overcome their trauma. According to the State Department of Mineral Resources Director Lynn Helms, oil production is still on the decline. Production dropped by 4 million barrels of oil between January and February of this year. Helms says that is likely caused by bad weather. The price of oil has also been falling steadily until this month, where we've seen a spike in prices.
Throughout the rest of 2018, they're actually anticipating a slight downward trend in oil pricing in the U.S. and before supply and demand starts to shift oil prices higher in 2019 and beyond.
According to the department, the state now captures 88% of natural gas, setting a new record in February for most cubic feet of natural gas captured per day. That spike in oil prices could translate to higher costs for travel. but for people staying within North Dakota, it won't make much of a difference. Parks like Fort Abraham Lincoln are getting ready for the tourist rush. That means putting on the final touches to the Custer House seen here. Thousands are already scheduled to tour the park next month despite the rise in gas prices.
It really doesn't make that much difference in the whole budget of a trip. You know, right now you'd be looking at about $20 more on a round trip from, say, Minneapolis to Bismarck. So in the light of, you know, you're going to skip your vacation, are you going to not go? We don't usually think that it's a deal breaker.
The higher fuel prices will hit air travel the hardest. Today, the Minot Spring Big One Arts and Craft Fair opened its doors at the State Fair Center. More than 150 crafters, artists, and bakers traveled to Minot to showcase their handcrafted products. Dwayne Graham has one of the booths at the fair. He says he's from Michigan but travels all over selling jerky.
And we do a lot of shows, but I think Minot has a lot of high-end stuff. There's a friend of ours down there is from Montana, and she makes fabulous leather goods and stuff, all homemade. No, I think you just see a lot of high-end, high-quality at good prices.
The event runs tomorrow, 9 in the morning until 5 p.m. Tomorrow marks the Brave the Shave fundraiser in Bismarck, but the festivities got underway last night. Law enforcement squared off against firefighters at the Guns and Hoses event. For one firefighter, it's personal. His 4-year-old son Levi is battling a rare type of cancer. Andrew Horn shows us their story.
What do you think, Tom?
Levi Gartner likes spending time at the fire station, pretending to drive the trucks like his dad, Joe. Now Joe's happy to have his son back.
He's more active and starting to be a little boy again, not so much used to being in the hospital all the time and bedridden.
Levi spent the past year battling an aggressive neuroblastoma, one that nearly killed him. The Gartners left Bismarck for 9 months so Levi could have chemotherapy, radiation, and surgeries before coming back to Bismarck for therapy.
You don't realize how much you can cry in the amount of time that, you know, he was diagnosed.
While the Gartners were gone, other firefighters stepped up to help.
I know their kids, they know my kids. We're at graduations, confirmations, things like that. You know, we're a family.
The guys here in Bismarck actually bought Christmas lights, put them up on my house, so that way when we came home in December of 2016, the kids had Christmas lights to come home to.
Happy birthday, dear Levi.
While they were in Minnesota, local firefighters welcomed Levi into their station, even celebrating his 4th birthday.
He's able to go walk in there with Levi and is welcomed in a fire department that just happened to be there, I guess, and the guys happened to be there, and they were able to experience, you know, that brotherhood.
Now back in Bismarck, Levi is going to physical therapy, getting stronger every day, and a shot at being a normal 4-year-old. For West Dakota Fox, I'm Andrew Horn.
Levi's most recent scans came back stable. Brave the Shave's main event will take place on Saturday at the Missouri Valley Family YMCA in Bismarck, starting at 1:30. Today, Bismarck Motor Company hosted its own Brave the Shave event. Employees and children shaved their heads in support of the fight against childhood cancer. This is the 5th year the company has hosted the event, raising over $100,000. Also on the health front, mental health first aid is an interactive 8-hour course that teaches you how to help someone who is developing a mental health problem or experiencing a mental health crisis. The course kicked off at Minot State today. It teaches participants to identify warning signs for things like depression, anxiety, eating disorders, substance abuse disorders, and self-injury.
It's interesting to see who is all here in this room taking it too. There are so many people from different backgrounds, so it kind of shows that this is a really all-encompassing thing. Like, mental health is an important thing, and it needs to be a priority in a lot of different fields and areas.
Today's session included participants from law enforcement, education, and medical backgrounds. If you or someone you know struggles with mental health, you are encouraged to contact First Link's 24-hour helpline at 211. Still ahead, an incredible rescue from a car that's hurled down a cliff. A 14-year-old misses his bus and it nearly costs him his life. Now a Michigan man is facing charges for a situation that could have turned deadly. Fox News correspondent Randy Wimbley has the latest from Rochester Hills, Michigan.
I'm kind of happy that I didn't become like a statistic.
14-year-old Brendan Walker is fortunate to be alive. He was almost gunned down Thursday morning asking for directions to Rochester High School. It happened right outside of this house on South Christian Hills in Rochester Hills.
Got to the house and I knocked on the lady's door. Then she started yelling at me. And she was like, "Why are you trying to break into my house?" And I was trying to explain to her that I was trying to get directions to Rochester High. And she kept yelling at me. The guy came downstairs, and then he grabbed the gun, and I saw it, and then I started to run, and then that's when I heard the gunshot.
Thankfully, he missed. Brennan kept running, hid, then cried. Oakland County Sheriff deputies arrived soon after and took the woman's husband into custody. Your son almost became a hashtag.
Almost became, exactly, and that's exactly how I feel, like, wow, because you were trying to get to school. I found out later that the only reason he missed is because he forgot to take the safety off.
The family's Ring doorbell recorded that near-deadly encounter. Investigators showed Brennan and his mom, Lisa, the video. It confirmed their suspicions.
One of the things that stands out that probably angers me the most is while I was watching the tape, you could hear the wife say, "Why did these people choose my house?"
An incredible and an unbelievable rescue out of California. A man survives after his van plunges more than 150 feet down a cliff before crashing into the Pacific. Rescuers were rappelling down the cliff to get the man. You can see he's up and walking there. This was the scene early this morning near San Mateo. It's unclear what caused him to veer over the road. Crews in Oklahoma are racing to stay one step ahead of a quick-spreading wildfire. More than 200,000 acres have burned, with one confirmed death. This is a few hours ago in Vichy. The governor of Oklahoma is issuing a state of emergency. Officials say these fires are exploding because of the record low rainfall in the last 6 months. Actor and comedian Will Ferrell is in the hospital after getting into a serious car accident last night. TMZ reporting that the chauffeured SUV flipped over in a two-car accident on the freeway in California after being sideswiped by another car. The Funny or Die actor and two others were taken to the hospital for treatment. Witnesses saying that Ferrell was on the phone while being loaded onto a stretcher. Several people are injured after a bus crash in Fort Worth early Friday morning. So far, there's no immediate cause of the accident. Video from the scene shows people being helped into ambulances and some wearing neck braces. Authorities say a full investigation is now ongoing. A California bus driver is in custody after driving a group of high school students while drunk. Aaron Friedman is facing several felony counts, including DUI and child endangerment. Friedman is accused of honking and cursing at other drivers before crashing into a light pole. When authorities arrived, they found several empty bottles of vodka inside the bus. No injuries were reported as a result of the incident. In Washington, President Donald Trump has granted a pardon to Scooter Libby. Libby served as Vice President Dick Cheney's chief of staff. He was convicted of perjury in 2007. In a statement, Trump conceded he has no personal relationship with Libby, whose case has been fully held up by conservatives as an example of a special counsel overstepping his bounds. South Dakota's Department of Transportation closed a section of Interstate 90 this morning because between Rapid City and Murdo, authorities say heavy snow and strong winds made safe travel impossible. Drivers were cautioned to stay put and avoid travel across the state for the rest of today and into the weekend. More on that now. Let's send it over to Henry.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, here's something buzzworthy. The FDA just banned concentrated bulk caffeine products. The agency says highly concentrated and pure caffeine products have been linked to at least 2 deaths. The FDA says 1 teaspoon of powdered caffeine can deliver the equivalent of 20 or more cups of coffee and can be fatal. Speaking of coffee, let's throw it over to the best perk of working at West Dakota Fox News at 9, Henry Blakes.
Right, thank you. Got some better weather in your forecast for the weekend. We're going to start out with some cloud cover, a little chilly, waking up to temperatures near 20 degrees, light wind, thankfully, but we're still not going to reach those upper 50s. But we are going to be above freezing. Tomorrow we'll be in the 30s and back in the 40s for Sunday into next week.
All right, we'll try and have some fun this weekend, even though it's going to be chilly, and we'll see you on Monday.